Well, what is up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Random Subscriber Milestone Celebrations, where I celebrate even the most minuscule of subscriber milestones. And if you haven't been following the channel recently, you might have realized that I hit 100 subscribers, which is a bit of a thing for me, because, in all the 6 years I've been running this channel, I was kind of not really expecting to get about to that 100 subscriber point. Of course, I kind of pushed my channel a little bit, kind of pushed my content quality up and all that, and it's definitely something that I'm constantly trying to improve on. But yeah, so I basically wanted to thank all of you guys for that, all the supporters out there who have literally subscribed to this channel, even if they watched like a minute of me, and even if they just watched a minute of me, if they found me in one of my weird product reviews of niche products no one will buy, such as this, because I did a review on these. Sometimes it's weird because I do reviews and it's like I get lots of views from it, and and I have been doing a lot of that recently. It's been more game reviews and all that. But anyways, so that's basically where it is. So no matter where in my community you sit in, whether that's the Game Builder Garage, the Splatoon, the random product reviews of whatever I want to talk about, or even my weird engineering videos where I talk about odd projects that I have, which I haven't been doing a lot of, but I will be doing some. I tried that format when I started this channel, but that never happened. So to thank you for it, I have decided that I am going to kind of take you around this little studio, because I don't think I've really done that. I mean, I've kind of shown like half of it, but there's a bit more that I think would kind of be interesting, and I think a bit of an out-of-body experience would be kind of helpful. This is probably going to be a relatively short thing, which is why I'm padding out this intro so long, and probably adding too much history lesson, a bit of an obligatory history lesson about this channel. But yeah. But anyways, so let's get right into it, and let me start. Alright, so I feel like to start off our little studio tour, I figured I'd start you off with kind of like where my days normally start and end, because I'm still a bit of a high school student, so backpack, and this is kind of like the little loading system I've got there. So this way I can just load things in and all that. USB cable for all the weird competitive Vex things that I deal with, and right here, right next to it, is my actual dresser, which I don't really use as much, and I've shown these things on the channel before. These are some cups that I 3D printed. If you haven't been watching the channel, I did a video about 6 months into owning a 3D printer, and I showed these things in it. These are some cups that I made for a business course that I was taking with my school, and the project was to quite literally make something and try and market it. We didn't do the greatest, but we did pretty okay-ish. So yeah, this is something that I've kind of had as a bit of a kid. This little fake ATM-ish thingo. I'm not gonna, kind of a bit of a thing to describe. I've got some power some power inverters and a 3-tap outlet. I just have that out there because sometimes I travel. It does have needs. And then here is kind of what I like to describe as the pencil case section, because it's where all of the things that I need instantly are, like pencils and whatever the hell that was, and weird rulers and markers and stuff. I usually find it over here. You'll soon find out that the way I organize things is a bit backwards to normal bedrooms, and you'd also probably see the purpose behind that. And then there's the kind of more interesting little tidbits, which are all the weird serial and parallel port cables. This is something that really died out even long before I was born. But you know what? I do have some. I do like to archive a few things. You know, I'm a bit of an archivist. You know, my parents gave me all their zip drives, which is all their zip disks, and you know, and they gave me all the LPT cables and stuff. And in my next video, you'll kind of see what I've been doing to kind of keep the whole spirit of the weird old connectors things that are barely used anymore alive. And then there's this stuff, you know, kilowatt meter. It's there because I couldn't find a better place for it, and it kind of rests on a bell that I have had for forever. I don't even know why I got it. 4-year-old me, you know. And I actually rarely use the actual dresser for how it was intended, and I use the laundry basket because I'm like, screw this. And then there's the bed, you know, kind of simple. You know, not very much to really write home about. You just, you know, I sleep here. I'm a bit of a Minecrafter, so of course my bed sheets are all Minecraft themed somehow. I mean, where's something that looks overtly Minecraft and just screams Minecraft. Yeah, there we go. You know, right up next to the trash can because, you know, because it's kind of a good neutral point, you know, because now we're getting to the interesting parts of this tour. You know, because right here it's like, you know, I get sick, there's the trash can for if I have to throw away something easily. And yeah, and then right next to that is probably the most annoying combo ever. And yes, I do have a bunk bed, but it's weird because I don't have any siblings, so I mean, I just use this as extra storage. But anyways, so yeah, right next to this bed is my 3D printer, which is a bit of an annoying thing to have when you're doing an overnight print, but it's also kind of a blessing because a lot of the times, in fact, this filament especially, I packaged it wrongly when I was doing those cups. Because I had to switch to PETG filaments, and because I had only been like 3 months into owning a 3D printer, yeah, I used, you know, I had incorrectly packaged it, so it got tangled. I'd say it got very tangly in there, and I was like, yeah, we need that. We need to work on that. So if I have to overnight print something, occasionally, if I haven't fallen asleep yet, I will quite literally kind of pull on the filament to make sure that it still could be grabbed by the extruder in its present state. I know it's a very stupid tactic and it's very idiotic, and I know I'd get flamed in the comments if I hadn't addressed that. And yeah, but yeah, it's something that is a problem. Luckily, I've kind of changed my practices about that, so hopefully that's not a huge problem. I've talked about this printer before, and yeah. And down here is a skateboard. I mostly just use that as a cart because with this 3D printer being so huge, my normal printer is kind of towered on it. It's kind of towered above it. I would have it below, but it's like, yeah, the 3D printer requires a little bit more attention. You know, it's like, screw it. I can just get away with doing things and stuff, and yeah. And then right here is my little workshop area. It's tiny, but it hosts all the weird projects that I decide upon, like the fact that I'm trying to 3D print a cassette deck, which is probably impossible, you know. But I'm trying because I want to see if it'll actually work. You know, I'm probably gonna do a few videos about the project, but a little bit of a teaser there. And you know, I got a soldering station, bunch of tools. You know, got the multimeters, and you know, and then there's my power supply, which is currently hooked up to these here Christmas lights. Yeah, because these are like one of those battery operated ones. I was able to get them to run on a 3-volt power supply. And this kind of goes into my little to my recording studio section, which yeah, I know it's a bit disorienting because you have your little workshop here and then recording studio here, but it works out because I sometimes find myself making really weird synthesizers with like 555 chips, which are like oscillators, and it kind of operates similar to this synth. I did a review on this, didn't get too many traction. Got the Mac, which I kind of only really use for audio production nowadays, since I'm predominantly a Linux user at this point, and if I have to compile certain apps for macOS, because I do actually have a thing in doing that. And underneath it is my little Roland TR6S. I also did a video on that kind of this summer, actually, because I recently bought it, and there it is in its little screensaver mode. And yep, there's the mixer and the studio headphones I use, which are really nice. I just picked those up and they look really cool and they sound great. And now we're getting to a bit of a part that I'm probably going to talk about. Oh, and yes, I have a second mixer for my little gaming PC. If you watch my live streams, this is the machine that I actually stream it from. It's this beautiful little beast. I built this about a year ago, except but I put it in a new case. I just recently got a new case for this thing. In fact, down here is my old case, which was the original one. In fact, if you watched the original video, you'd notice that it was in this case, but this case is old and it has literally no space for hiding cables or anything, or any kind of cable management at all. So I decided to do that, and I did make a video about upgrading this thing, and I am going to be releasing it on the next week or so. So make sure to subscribe if you want to see something like that. And and much like I said, I don't know how it'll show up on camera, but yeah. Apparently my motherboard came with LPT and serial ports, like actual connectors for them. So I was like, I'll just hook those up. And unfortunately I don't have a GPU in this because I built it like a year ago, and that long ago was like, a GPU would not be a very easy buy, but I'm kind of saving up for one right now, and I could stop living off of an iGPU for once. And then over here is the recent addition that I just had, and that is this little side table that I have. I have it for this other laptop that I use. This has become more of my school laptop that I kind of use for random things. This thing's actually 10 years old, and I'm even surprised it's holding up to a full copy of Linux under a virtual machine. So that's fun. It's running Windows 11 in a VM. Had to hack it a little bit, but it works. And unfortunately it's a bit of a mess right now. And much like I had alluded to earlier, I have the box for the new case and the old case, and there's my little recycling compartment there. So that's kind of what my little studio area looks like. It's not the brightest of and most interesting of places, but it's very interesting to me because it's quite literally a reflection of all the stuff I do, all the stuff that I'm into, which is quite a lot of things when you look at it from a certain point. I seem to be becoming the master of trades, or the jack of all trades but master of none at this point. But so that's all the kind of cool things that I've got, and this channel has kind of been like that. It's kind of been a reflection of that too, because I post all kinds of content here. And with that being said, that kind of brings us to the end of this little video. If you like what you saw, leave a like and subscribe, I guess. You have your own choice to do these things. It's not legally required, but it would be really, really, really nice if you did that. But yeah, in all seriousness though, thank you all for watching, and thank you all for supporting me to the big 100. I knew this was kind of a bit of a thing that was kind of coming up a little earlier, but you know, I wanted to do something about it, and I really want to, and the one thing I really want to do is thank all of you guys for kind of sticking around with this channel, no matter what season or what segment of my channel you started out with. Like, if you were watching from like the day one when I was still like in 6th grade doing vlogs and weird PSAs for my school, yeah, I thank you very much for sticking around for all that time, and hope you enjoyed the content. I know a lot of it's been dull, even especially through the live stream area, through the hiatus, all the stuff, you know. But hey, you know what? That's how things go. And yeah. Anyways, if you like what you saw, oh, the like button, the subscribe button, they exist. If you wish to use those, you're free to do that, you know. It's not a requirement, but it would really, really, really help out my cause here, which is probably not very good. But anyways, so yeah, that does this video, and bye.